Hi, Andy.
Yeah.
Don't say hi there. She can't go up the steps. She can't walk up the steps. Look at that tail wagging. Andy, look. Andy.
Look at Andy's expression. He looks like a monster.
That's good, Anthony. Sing too.
That's that face. Feed you so. Whoa! Let me take one of you. Let me take one of you, Andy, please.
Wait.
Good. It is what it is, though. Yeah. What's she doing? Are they moldy?
Grandma.
Yeah.
Esther.
Did you eat him?
Esther.
Yeah, if you have to question if the food is good, throw it away.
Here, do something nice. Here.
That's what
I
did
love
in
you,
Esther's
Andy.
refrigerator.
I love you,
Do
Andy.
a little dance or something, Grandma.
Huh?
Do a little dance.
You don't believe the refrigerator.
Washing dishes.
Honestly.
Taking the
I've
dishes
been-
in the
I've been
dishwasher.
throwing
Here's Grandma
stuff away
miserably washing the
all day
dishes.
long. I go
Yeah,
back and
miserable.
Look more
I hate
miserable.
washing the dishes.
and throw
Try and look more miserable
I'm
watching the
the only
dishes.
one that knows where to put them, though, I'll tell you
You
that.
look like you're enjoying it too much.
I'm enjoying it. It's being very normal, which I'm not.
Started at 1 and
You know, when you're doing things that you do all the time, that's being normal.
Right, I know.
Am I right?
I know you are. That's why I'm doing. You see me doing the things I do all the time.
You have to do what makes you feel normal. Otherwise, you can't cope.
Right.
Too hard to cope. Although I wondered where you were when we came home today.
Uh-huh.
There were mobs of people here, and you weren't here.
Well, it's not a party, Grandma. Do you know where I was?
I know, but they were looking for you.
Do you know where I was?
No.
I was spending time with my cousin. I haven't seen him in 2 years.
Yeah.
Which one?
Jeffrey.
yeah.
Is that until they left? You mean?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I forgive you then.
Forgive me.
I forgive you for not coming when we came.
Right. You bet,
Well, but now you understand, don't
I
you?
understand. Yeah. I didn't know where you were. I got scared a little bit, and I thought maybe you got lost.
Not lost. I'm never lost.
Well, I figured maybe something made you get lost. I don't know what.
Yeah, I spent a couple hours with Jeffrey. I thought it was a good idea because I haven't seen him
Yeah,
since
which is true.
1990 or 2000 anyway.
You didn't really see him alone, did you?
Well, he was with Ashley,
Uh-huh.
but he's pretty open with her.
Is he?
Yeah,
Are they good together?
I think so.
Oh, that's good. I hope so. I want
Hey,
them
Mr.
to be happy.
As good as any guy can be when he's married to a girl.
Oh, he's doing his interviewing. That's his interviewing.
Yeah.
Hello, Andy. Eileen has survived her first family function.
Hey there.
What do you have to say about the?
It's not interesting work, but it's pays well.
Pays well.
Solomon 646 area code.
646. That's a New York self.
Yeah. You gonna humor it?
Right, that's right.
While putting everything on the spot. So annoying. Oh, thank you. That's great.
I'm glad you were here.
All right. Hey, Grandma, say hi.
Earlier next time.
Hello there, my wonderful grandson. Oh, you're here.
Oh.
Did you finally arrive? What'd you eat, Paul? Bagel?
Bagel?
What do you think I'm
Oh, he's
doing?
got me in the camera now. I see it.
You're not dressing?
She's a little embarrassed. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna cut all that out.
I'm gonna kill him.
I'm gonna put a beautiful gown. I can digitally edit it so that there's
Can you
a
really?
beautiful evening gown that you're wearing.
That's how he.
He can fix your face and put makeup on.
Yeah, I definitely will. Why is it dark like that?
What's the matter? Too dark? This is what he does to me all
Mom,
the
you have to
time.
throw out milk after August 15th.
I know, I told her.
He tried it, it wasn't good.
Yeah,
I don't know. Throw away that coffee, it was too much, too strong.
I made it new.
Did you open up the fresh coffee?
Yeah, Mom, I did.
Okay. Oh, look at, where did you get that? No, go to Paul. Go to Paul. Go to Paul. He knows, look at that.
He's a good
Here,
dog.
let me give it to Paul. Let me give it to Paul.
We're filming, we have to be quiet when we're.
No, I'm just doing some test shots right now.
Ah. Let me give it to Paul. Let me give it to Paul.
Why is this
Let me give it to Paul.
so dark?
Let me give it to Paul. Let me give it to Paul. Ah. Let me give it to Paul. Look.
Oh, I know it.
Their dog is very cute,
Their dog.
adorable.
Yeah, he is. That dog is cute. He's different looking, isn't he?
Yeah.
He has a. You don't like him?
Who, me? Yeah, it's a cute dog.
Okay, Grandma. Now,
Oh, here we go.
was there ever a time when you thought about leaving Murray?
Oi.
Yeah.
Do you remember when that was?
Oh, right after we were married.
Uh-huh. And what happened to make you want to do that?
You want me to go over the same story?
Just tell me the same story you told me
No,
before.
no. I started out, and he came after me, that's all.
Yeah, I know, but what made you want to leave?
I didn't
Okay.
like his friends.
Just tell me the story.
Well, it's the story that Paul never heard, so.
Come on.
Well, okay, I'll.
Tell me the story.
You want me to go? I'll go outside.
No, you stay right there.
So you
You
went.
stay right there. If he's gonna put this down for posterity, you may as well hear it now. There's nothing. Nothing.
You won't tell me?
I just told you that I didn't like his friends, so I was ready to leave.
Okay, so you'd just been married for about 8 months or so.
I wasn't
You
even
were-
married 8 months. I think I was married 6 months. He used to take me to visit his friends, and I didn't like them.
Where were the friends?
The communists.
Oh, and this was in Wilkes-Barre.
New York.
Oh, yeah. So Murray had socialistic leanings?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, you know.
oh really? And
Yeah.
was he a member of the communist?
No, he was never a member, but all his friends were communists.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And this was when? What year?
1930,
8.
between 1932 and 1938, or 9. At that time,
But yet he turned into a capitalist.
into a capitalist.
Yes, I mean, probably when he...
Yeah, that's part of the story. That's part of the story, though. You tell what happened, though. That's so funny. Okay, so you went to the meeting, and you didn't like his friends because they were talking about like the workers,
Yeah,
and
and
you-
the workers are deprived, and they don't get enough money,
and you.
and the capitalists are getting all the money and not giving it to them. And at that time,
And
we
there was
lived in
truth.
Ashley, and the miners were on strike at that time, and they were fighting for that too. And we were grocers, and they wouldn't. And if they were on strike, they couldn't pay their bills.
Right,
So I was angry about that part.
right.
Well, anyway, it turned around after a while, you know. So I got angry at his friends. They were all intellectuals. They were brilliant. I realize that now. I didn't like their theory at that time. I I was 19 years old, 20 years old, what the hell did I know?
Yeah.
So one day I had an argument with him after being married about 6 or 7 months, and I said, I'm leaving. I don't like your friends and I don't like you. So I packed a little bag and I walked down to get the subway to go home, to get on the bus. And with that, he came running after me down the lane. I had to go back. That was the end of that.
And what, did he change his political leanings, or he just didn't drag you to the meetings?
It was the political side. We had no other arguments about anything. Just didn't like his friends.
But then, at some point, he turned
It
from...
changed. Yes. It did change. When we came back to Wilkes-Barre and he opened up a factory and he struggled hard to make it. It was awful. And then we finally did make it. Then the union came in after us. And that's when I turned the other way.
Well, there's a French philosopher whose name escapes me, who said, when you're young, if you're not a socialist, you have no heart. When you get older, if you're not a capitalist, you have no brains.
That's right. That's it. He's exactly right.
Well, I didn't say it. I
You
think
are
Voltaire said it.
exactly right. That's exactly what happened with us.
Tell me about the radio. Did you said somebody made a radio announcement or something?
Oh, well, Minnie Matheson at that time was her girlfriend's mother. Do you remember her name, Minnie
Oh,
Matheson?
sure, I know Minnie
Oh, you
Matheson.
do?
Sure, very much.
Well, you know, she was always after us, our factory. It was a small factory at that time.
Yeah.
That we weren't paying enough money, but Murray was paying all he could pay because that's all he could get from the manufacturers in New York, and he couldn't pay anymore. And she was always on top of our heads. So finally, when he got a little bigger, when we got a little bit more, I don't know, when he learned more, when Murray learned more, and the factory became bigger, we finally decided instead of living on Method Street, we're going to build a house at that time. And his friend was Abe Searman, who was the builder at that time. Remember Abe Searman?
The name I
All
remember.
right, he was a builder, and it was Jerry Searman. And I got together with Jerry, and he built that house on Butler Street for me. And after we built the house, and we were sitting there and having dinner one night, Minnie Matheson got on the radio, and she said, see how you people are suffering? They don't give you enough money. Look at the houses they build.
And did they mention you, or just...
Look at the houses they build. I'll never forget it.
Now, when you say she was on the radio, was
She was always on the radio.
Oh, you mean she had like
She would harass the,
Oh, you mean this was the
Contract.
news? The
Huh?
news? The news?
oh yeah.
The
She
news.
would, oh sure, every night at 6 o'clock she would get on the radio and harass everybody.
We'd sit around and have dinner and then there'd be silence.
Oh, you
We'd be listening
remember,
to the
huh?
radio.
Well, you
Oh,
know...
see, she
it-
remembers.
You know,
I didn't know whether you remembered
Oh,
it.
come on, Mom.
for what it's worth, what happened in
Get
this
Andy,
country...
go get Andy. Go
Is
get
that-
Andy and tell him breakfast is ready.
is that in the beginning, the manufacturers had all the power.
Lay down.
And then, through unionism...
We were only the,
I understand. I'm not saying that Murray had all the power.
no, because we didn't get the right price from the manufacturer either. They were the ones
Do you want
that,
butter on the toast? I didn't give you any.
But then what happened is, because of collective bargaining, the union had as much power as the manufacturer.
that's right.
And so, but what's happening now, the union has no power.
The small contractor was crushed a little bit. The bigger ones were able to withstand,
Well, you know, I mean...
but the smaller ones were crushed. And she would crush them more when they were little.
Well, that was the...
I'll never
Tasty,
forget,
Andy?
she used to say, look at the houses they live in.
Well, that was
Look at the houses they built.
It starts out as an intellectual pursuit and then becomes very personal.
So that's when I turned from one thing into another. I mean, it was a whole, you know.
My father was difficult. I don't know if my mother will remember, you know, when all of us went, all of our friends went to Hebrew school, we weren't allowed to go because he really didn't believe that much in organized religion and paying to go for religion. So he waited a year and then I guess he
Murray
kept on
wouldn't-
saying,
he
it's
wasn't
important for the
religious.
kids to go.
But
It's
his family,
important
his
for
mother
the
was
kids to be
religious.
part of the
came from a-
community.
Her brothers were rabbis.
So that's why I was like, with Carol, Baltimore's sister, you know, because I was a year like behind, because until.
And Sharon was a year behind too, because he didn't start her on time. And Rabbi Darish didn't let her go up with the rest of the kids when we wanted her to.
No, but she was right with her confirmation class.
No, she wasn't.
She sure was. Yeah, she was.
Well, I think that's
I don't
interesting.
remember. No, I think not.
And then Sandy on
Did you
the
know that?
other.
Did you know that Murray went to NYU for took classes at NYU or something? What was that, Grandma?
Yeah, he did for
Yeah.
2 years.
What did he study?
I don't know.
I don't know what he studied either. I don't remember what I have
It's
his
too
diploma
bad,
from high
because-
school, that's all. I still have his diploma from high school.
Fine. What he went to Jefferson High School
Thomas Jefferson.
in near Canarsie or something.
I think he
In
studied,
Brooklyn.
I think he was in business too. I think he had
He
a few
studied business?
business courses, he told me.
That sounds like him. He wouldn't waste time with.
Yeah. the truth
He
is,
wasn't a
more
terrific
pragmatic.
businessman. He
More
wasn't in the
pragmatic.
beginning. He was more of a worker kind of a person. He was very ambitious, but he was a worker. He was not a businessman. You take Larry Hollander was a big businessman.
But if it weren't for Daddy, Larry wouldn't have.
No, Larry wouldn't have been where he was.
So you said, how much did Grandpa make when he was working? He
I
was a cutter.
when I married him, he made $73 a week, and after we were married
That
about
was a
3
lot
months,
of
he
money
made
then.
93
A week.
a week.
That was a lot of money.
Where was his factory?
Where was the factory? In Ashley.
Ashley.
The first one was in Ashley.
No, when he was cutting.
The cutting,
In New York.
at 250 West 39th Street, in New York.
Where were you living then?
Would you remember?
In Canarsie.
Where in Canarsie?
103.
1030 East 94th Street in Canarsie. How I remember.
It's too bad we sold that. Do you know, that's worth a lot of money now.
Everything is real estate. You say, sure.
1030
We
East
should have held it for
94th
50
Street in
years.
Canarsie.
Oh,
It
okay.
was a double block house.
What kind of house was that?
It was a one-family house, which was made into 2 families.
Uh-huh.
We lived upstairs, and his mother and father lived downstairs. And after
I made fresh.
But he was-
about 2 years after Sharon was born, he became very allergic because we lived in Canarsie, which was on the shore, and the salt water was doing something to it. He was getting asthma with it.
Mhm.
So we moved to the Bronx where it was higher and the air was better, to an apartment.
Actually, I think you're mistaken, Mom, because anytime I had an allergy, he kept on saying, well, you need salt water. So
I don't know why he was allergic to something in
Something to
Canarsie.
do, not the water.
He had asthma, he couldn't.
No, but he thought that the salt water helped everything.
But it didn't. But it didn't. He used to get very sick. He used to get asthma, and he got, what did he get? He was allergic.
For something.
To seafood.
Huh?
To seafood.
To seafood, he was allergic.
Very allergic.
Iodine, maybe?
Huh?
Iodine?
He was allergic to any seafood, except, I know he was allergic to carp. He was able to eat whitefish and yellow pike, but is allergic to carp and seafood.
My mother's very good in what food.
Yeah.
Food.
So where did you live in Bronx?
He was a food eater. He liked food
What was your address there? In Bronx? How long did you live there?
until we moved to Wilkes-Barre
Do you remember where you lived?
on Anderson Avenue.
And was he still working at the same factory?
Yeah,
As a cutter?
yeah. No, he was more high priced then, you know.
So how did he make
became
it?
one of the head cutters in the factory.
Do you remember when he made the decision to move to Pennsylvania? Were you part of that decision to make you happy?
No, my father was.
What do you mean? What
My
happened?
father insisted that that was enough. He wanted us back, and
Why did your father think that was enough?
he figured as a worker, he's never going to get any place.
Did they have a good relationship, your father and your husband?
Had a very good relationship.
So they were talking on the phone a lot? Your father said, "Yeah, you're not
No
going to."
talking on the phone because my father never spent a nickel.
So how did they talk?
By being in front of him. They got along better than any two
She
people
can
you ever
finish the
saw.
rest. She knows the
They
rest.
loved it. They loved each other.
You mean he would come here? How did he get here? Did you have a car?
He had a car.
Murray had a car?
My father always had a car.
When you lived in Bronx?
He had a motorcycle.
$100 a week, $5,000 a year, 4,800
Yeah,
was like today, I would say, $125,000 a year. That was an extraordinary amount of
that
money.
was even more.
Yeah, it
it's
might have been
even
more like
better than
200,000. Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah.
Because I had things and we saved money and we had everything.
Because when I finished college,
Right.
we started at $5,000 a year, $6,000 a year.
Yeah, right.
And that was in the 60s.
That's right. So my father felt it was enough that he would be
This
a
house
worker and
would
that's the
cost-
only place he would ever get, and so he may as well go into his own business. That's all.
So your father thought that wasn't good enough?
No, it wasn't that it wasn't good enough. He just felt
I
that
don't like it.
uh,
I like
that's as far as he can go there, really,
it.
being a worker, you know?
You better be nice to me.
So he decided that he would, as long as he
Don't
knows
forget,
how to.
my grandfather owned, he did, he owned things. So he thought you're nothing, like my father thought civil services, but my grandfather thought you have to own stores, shops,
Right.
factories, to be
that was the
anything
difference.
in his mentality. Don't forget, he came from Russia. So he had a different mentality. He thought you have to own a property. He didn't think that you should rent a house. He didn't think that you should work for anybody. It was just so totally different, but yet they loved each other.
Well,
They
did
really, honestly.
Murray disagree with him? I mean, he had these like
No,
these left-wing
He
tendencies.
didn't agree with him,
no, he didn't.
but he listened because,
I don't understand. Like, I'm just trying to figure out like how
You have to
how your father was so powerful that he could just say like, "Oh, you need to move your family."
This is how.
Pennsylvania.
My,
I mean, the guy had been in New York his whole life, and he's telling him you need to move to Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And Murray said, "Okay."
I think something else happened too, that, is that the garment industry moved to here. That was not, Murray didn't move the garment industry to Wilkes-Barre.
yeah, well, the garment
It was the
industry, only one or two moved here when we did.
Yeah, but there was a conscious, it became very expensive in New York. The wages grew. And so when coal ceased, there was an accident which stopped the production of coal in this area. It's called the Knox 9 disaster, in where they mistakenly drilled a seam of coal that went into the river, and the river came in. All the mines were interconnected, and over a period of years, all the mines underneath us are flooded with water from the Susquehanna River. So coal production ceased, and they needed something to revitalize the area. So there was a conscious effort from the Chamber of Commerce's in this area to bring in a new industry, and the industry that seemed to be the best was the garment industry, because they were moving out of the New York metropolitan area to find lower wage seamstresses, i.e. that's how Murray came to Wilkes-Barre.
That's how he came.
Yeah, it's not just because your father said. I mean, it's because.
No, there were opportunities
Yeah, there
here.
was opportunities.
Yeah, but at that time, he didn't realize it was that opportune until my father told him
Well,
That's
to
right.
come here
That's
because
right.
my father wanted me back.
yeah, but in these things,
That's right.
20 years later, you say, oh, this is what happened and that's why.
No,
I
but-
mean,
but-
at the time, you don't
But
understand.
her father wanted her back to also help in the grocery store
Yeah.
and help.
Well, Murray would have been too smart not to go into the grocery.
But Murray went in cold as a businessman. He knew from Borscht.
Well, but he did know.
He knew from Borscht. And then my father decided he better help him. So he went to work with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
Murray knew nothing.
Yeah, that's.
He was a wonderful cutter. He was a great man in his trade,
Yeah.
but knew nothing about business.
Well, he didn't know much about only people that he knew about.
Larry Allen
And
was
you have
my
to
family
know
were
about,
business in New York. So he was a businessman before.
and plus he respected her father much more than his own father. Because her father was a family man, where my grandfather on grandpa's side was a selfish man.
Was a what?
Selfish man,
Selfish?
yeah, selfish
I
man.
sort of told,
But we loved him, he was charming.
very
He was
charming, and he
Charming, he could charm the pants off of any woman.
was the chairman of a whole big factory in New York, where Murray went to work. He was the chairman of that factory.
He was charming.
There's a lot of sides to our family, you know?
Yeah, well, every
Every
family.
family.
Every person.
family.
Every family.
And there were definitely, but he was interesting. He was a great swimmer, Andy. He's just
He swam across
across a
Canarsie
lake.
Shore one time.
Oh, don't eat the paper. They like paper.
Okay, I'm gonna pause.
Do you have that first tape of Grandma's that you did a
Mhm.
few years ago?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, good.
That was a long time ago. I looked different then.
We should go over to Aunt Shirley's and do her now. She'll remember.
Yeah, go do Aunt Shirley. She'll enjoy it. You get a different version over there.
How was that shirt, Andy? Comfortable last night? It looked so good.
What?
His shirt looked nice.
He looked very nice. He really did.
And Paul, you look stunning in that white sweater. He didn't want to wear a sweater last night. I said, it's chilly.
Sure. Paul looked nice.
Stunning,
Paul looked very nice last night.
stunning.
Interesting.
I didn't know whether the dog was fed this morning because he was in his room and I got up. And I got up at 8 o'clock this morning because I was up during the night. And I thought that there was a light on in his bedroom. And I thought that he already fed the dog. But he didn't. And when I got up, I figured the dog was fed. And I tried to tie him up to let him out. And he wouldn't go.
Oh, he's so smart.
He wouldn't go. He was not fed.
Oh, that is funny.
He would not go. I couldn't pull him to the door. And I didn't, mother didn't think that he should, but he did.
And they had, you know what is very interesting? Their bar.
For a Jew.
Well,
No, Jewish people didn't have bars.
Oh, didn't they?
No, but I mean, he came straight here from Russia.
Not straight here. It was New York. My
Everybody.
father worked in a factory in New York.
Oh, so he
He
knew.
was also,
Oh.
he was an operator, a machine operator,
Oh.
a sewing operator. That's what most of them did in those days in New York. He worked there until he met my mother and got married, and then relatives that lived here, brought them here to open up a business. The same thing, you know?
And who were the relatives that were here?
Isaac's.
The Isaacs, Billy Isaacs,
And why were they here?
they were rich.
They were very
They were-
wealthy.
They were in the, here, beauty supply.
And they also made alcohol, I think. They also did alcohol, because for their business, for their stuff that they sold, for the hair and for the face, you needed alcohol, so they were able to make a lot of money on alcohol. So when they brought my father and mother out here, it was to a grocery store
And did they
in the
have-
mining area in Ashley.
Oh, and did they have the place at the lake at that time? Right? in the
Not right then, not when we came.
Oh, okay,
Later,
okay.
they accumulated.
They had
That
tennis
later.
courts and like a mansion, a little mansion.
They
So
did. For here it was.
Well, this was a very wealthy area at one time, extremely wealthy.
Oh, it's... No, you see, at that time, the Isaacs were able to travel. They had lots of
Will
money.
you stop?
They went to England, they went to France. They were always on vacations, going somewhere. I remember my Aunt Esther bringing me home from different countries, jewelry and stuff. Yeah, and that was in the early days.
Now, did the Isaacs come straight here from Russia or whatever? Or-
Yeah, my aunt did.
How did they know to come
He
to
came from
Wilkes-Barre?
England.
Or-
I came from England, her husband, and met Esther, my aunt.
Why was
Here.
she here? What?
The cold.
She came here with Slavitzes, with sisters and brothers, I think. Yeah, with Dave Gordon and Flossie Slavitz's mother. A group of people from my father's side,
Flossie who?
Flossie Slavitz.
You know Flossie.
Oh, that's Flossie? Oh, okay.
Flossie's mother came here with Esther and Dave Gordon, and they all settled here.
Oh.
Oh.
I mean, how do you even get here? I don't understand, like, how do you get here from New York in like 1905 or whatever?
What happened
On the
is-
train.
What happened
There was
is-
no train here.
Yes, oh sure.
There is?
This was a very, very, wealthy is a bad choice of words. It was a very it was the Silicon Valley of its time,
Oh, okay.
all right? And what, it gets more complicated. What happened is, were you from Russia? You ever hear of the pogroms? You know what
Yeah.
that is?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, the Jews, now we're not just Jews, but a lot of people left Russia because of religious persecution. All right? I mean, these were not the Jews you see today. These were the guys with the payas and stuff. I mean, they didn't fit in. So the United States was the only country that would allow mass migration. So people would come by boat. You didn't have to have a visa, you just came to the country, they screened you so you didn't have a disease, and then you settled in New York. And then what happened in New York was, it just got overcrowded, so you would, if you had half a brain, you'd say, well, where can I go where I can make a living? And one of the places you could go where you make a living, and by the way, Jews were not historically farmers, all right, because they were not allowed to own land. in most European
They were
countries.
merchants even in Russia.
Yeah, they're merchants and they were physicians and they were
Yeah,
overseers,
they were
but they were not.
more intellectually,
No, they were not more intelligent. That's a fallacy. They weren't allowed to own land. That's
That's right.
why they became what they did. I mean, that's just a nice Jewish fallacy that they were more intellectual. And so they come to New York and then they look for a place where they could make a living as merchants. And so they came to the coal.
Yeah, because my father's family was the same way actually. Like my father's grandfather was much further west than this actually. He was in near Ebensburg, Pennsylvania, which was near Pittsburgh, and he went way out there.
But you know why you were?
And this is like 1890 or something.
Do you know why he was near Pittsburgh though? Steel.
Well, no, I
They
mean,
made steel there.
he was selling. He had a store, and they would sell animal food. What do you call it? Feed,
Feed.
Food.
All right. So
Feed.
he was.
Feed.
He was.
livestock feed.
Yeah. all
Yeah.
right. Well,
So he
there
had
was
a feed
lot-
store, and he
Yeah.
would sell it to the
that
local
was it,
farmers.
so he was a merchant.
Yeah.
A merchant,
Yeah.
your grandfather.
But that's the.
But honestly, like in my mind, I can't imagine the turn of events that got him from Russia to a feed store in rural Pennsylvania.
Well,
Like,
the answer is that they're really because Jews were persecuted. Jews were.
Where
not
was
the-
your mother born? Your grandmother?
there near Ebensburg,
In where?
near Ebensburg, which is
She was born in America then?
my grandmother.
Yeah,
Yes.
she was born in America.
She
My.
was?
That,
Yeah,
My.
David's mother was born in America.
Oh, David's mother?
Mother,
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you
It's
meant
the same.
her.
It's the same story as yours, really. The girl was
But-
from rural Pennsylvania, and the boy was from New York,
Yeah,
and he moved out for opportunity and met her out there. That's the same story.
same story.
David's mother was definitely American. You know we met her.
I didn't meet her, I only saw her once, Susan,
Mommy met
as
her.
she was walking with David. I only saw her once.
Oh, also one other thing.
That's all, you met her, but I didn't
Religious
meet her.
freedom. These were test questions.
I saw her
in,
coming
Yeah,
out.
no, I know
of the
that
temple.
stuff.
Yeah,
That
religious
time,
freedom.
she was
Yeah,
sick
the
already.
United States gave.
You're talking about like good, like
David,
true
that's the only
abstract
time I ever
concepts. You know,
saw
I'm just
her.
trying to get to
They're
know
not,
them.
they're not so abstract.
I
They're
never
not so
saw her.
abstract. I mean, you
It
know,
was
why
right
did you
after
get
that she
to
died.
Luzerne County
She
versus
died when we got engaged.
Whitehead,
She died
West,
when we got engaged.
That's right,
Westchester.
and I never met her.
I didn't know that.
This is, I mean, I used to do this for a living, but this is has a fascinating history, this area. Except that, now, you know, it's interesting, one of the things, there's a commercial on television saying that the United States is the Saudi Arabia, when it comes to coal. There is an effort trying to revitalize the coal industry, but it's such a dirty fuel. You know, it pollutes everything. But I don't know, it is possible in 50 years from now, this will be like it was 100 years ago.
What are you gonna do, change, don't buy anything or anything?
But I don't know.
Take
If
it.
they modernize the techniques for
Yeah, they
extracting
have
the
to
coal.
make
They need
it-
robots and stuff. They can't do this.
No, it's just the burning of the coal, that's the problem. The theory is that they can make coal into a gas, and then the gas is burned, and that's a clean burning fuel. But
Yeah.
we have a friend who is still in the coal business. Jeannie, I mean, they have coal mines.
Who?
What's his name?
Who's in the coal business, Susan?
Robert
Pagnotti.
Pagnotti.
Robert Pagnotti.
Oh, Bignotti, right.
Yeah, it's interesting.
The brother's gonna go to jail, I think.
Yeah, the coal business was sort of an Italian business.
Italian business, and they got rich too.
Well, the Jews in Altoona, Benjamins, they had a coal mine. Do you remember the Benjamins?
Oh, there was coal in Altoona too?
Uh-huh. Soft coal.
Soft coal, yeah. Well, soft coal
By
still has a
Tunis.
use. Hard coal doesn't. But right under this house, there's enough coal to power the United States for 200 years. I mean, this whole area. But you can't get
It
to
still is?
ocean.
It didn't all get,
It's
water
flooded.
underneath?
It's flooded, but it's still there.
It's still there?
Yeah, sure.
Don't go down and look for it.
You can't get down, you'll drown.
He's tearing that apart.
He's-
Well, Susan, I thought this history lesson was good. There'll be a test
Hey,
later in the
No,
week.
Get rid of
I'm
it.
not good at tests.
Paul, pull it out of her mouth.
You know, one of the things I learned about a doggy, don't put your hand by his mouth when he's
Oh.
chewing on something.
Andy, would you like to take a little bike ride?
he ate it. She ate part of it.
She ate it?
No, here, go call him.
She'll vomit.
No, there's
Yeah, but
another
there's
piece
a
there.
big chunk that she ate. Oh, she ate
And she
that
got
too.
the other one too.
She's chewing it.
It's a nice ice cream cone.
Look at her.
We didn't get
That's
it
what she
all.
would do to the bird if she got a hold of the
I
bird
don't
like
think
this.
so.
No, like
Huh?
I don't think so, that she likes the birds.
She liked the bird. They play with each other.
I don't think she hasn't chased any squirrels recently.